so much for coming to our fall sports meeting. This has been a great year for Classical for so many reasons, which we'll get into here later on throughout the evening. Just to kind of give you an overview, you're going to meet everybody from our department that's going to cover high-level topics. We'll have a time for Q&A afterwards as well. You'll also get a chance to meet all the coaches as well, who are going to make the magic happen. So let's start off with get our head coaches up here for our fall sports. If you guys can welcome them right now, please. So we'll start off with Coach Josiah. Josiah, if you can just kind of say hello and give them a little bit fun fact about you and why they should come join your team.
All right, I'm Coach Josiah Cruz. I'm one of 10 kids. I've been working with high school students for, I think this is going to be year 18 of coaching high school sports. So most people know 16 of that was volleyball, but now football, and we're liking where we're going.
Hi guys, I am Bryce Sammons, or Coach Bryce. I'm also the aquatics director here for all of our aquatics, and I took over last year, and it's technically my first year fully taking over the boys, but just love aquatics, man. Come out and come enjoy.
I'm Ariel Milo. I coach boys beach volleyball. I'm also the head boys coach for the indoor volleyball program. It's good for your joints. The boys are out in the sun. It's just a fun time.
Hi, my name is Coach Mercedes. I've been with classical tennis girls for 9 years, my 9th season, and boys for about 4. And I am the youngest of 9, so he beat me, and I just love my job. And it's great kids, and I keep staying until they kick me out, so I love my job.
DJ Musselman. I'm the cross-country coach here. I also just finished up track and field season. This is my 2nd year head coaching, but I've been coaching 4 years here, going into 5, I think. If you don't think you can be a runner, come out. I'll change your mind. It's a good, fun time if you want to join the cross-country family and get some cardio.
I'm Jen Hernandez, and contrary to the sweatshirt, I am beach girls coach as well, but I am coaching girls indoor. So Ariana switched seasons, so he gets the beach season in the summer or in the fall when it's nice and warm, and I get it when it's nice and cold. But indoor.
Stay up here, coaches. These coaches represent not only their team, but their staffs as well. I just want to say thank you, you guys and you ladies, for doing this. As you can imagine, all of them do it for the money. And the Christmas bonus, Jelly of the Month Club. But really the inordinate amount of time, effort, energy, passion that they put into this is amazing. I'll tell you a secret about every one of them too. Believe it or not, every one of them is imperfect. The reason I say that is so often we forget like how many midnights, 2, 3 p.m., they're looking at film or working on schedules or trying to figure out a situation. And so I just want to encourage us as family members here, as parents, because I have kids that have played here as well, to always keep that in mind. And that's some things we'll be talking about throughout the presentation. But really what they do is amazing, and we really thank you for that. Missing is Brandon Boitano, who's our girls golf coach, but there'll be a breakout room if you guys are interested in that. As well, our coach that's still to determine, our flag football coach, our first ever flag football team, CIF's inaugural season. And you want to clap, young lady? Go ahead and start clapping. Yeah. Watch what happens. Yeah, we were ready. Don't worry if nobody else is clapping. You want to clap, you clap. Right, and so we are going to be fielding a flag football team this season, and first in CIF history, and I have a sneaky suspicion we're going to win the championship because we had a powder puff game. I don't think we can call it powder puff because there was no powder and there was no puffing, right? But I saw some of the most dominant, exciting athletes at this school compete, just have a great time. And out of all those teams, we're going to have one super team. And I think we're going to win the championship.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about that. And so thank you guys so much for encouraging these coaches hopefully throughout the year, giving the benefit of the doubt, being a support to them, because what they do is amazing, and they really do it. They really do it because they love your kids, and they want to do a great job with them. So coaches, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. I'd like to call now the athletic department team up, and then Cody will speak after that. So this is the team that makes things happen, and so this is the collective group so we have a lot of sports, over 100 coaches here, over 20 CIF sports, so you can imagine the inordinate amount of just activity, planning, problem solving, hiccups, uniforms, retrievals, scheduling, certifications. So this is a team that makes it happen, and we're here for you. My name is Marcus Brachado. I'm the AD, their athletic director, and I get to work with this team here. Is awesome. So I'll let them introduce themselves briefly and share a little bit what you do, and we'll go from there.
Hey guys, my name is Cody Warwick. I'm an assistant athletic director. I deal a lot with like coach clearance stuff, social media, admin duty, things like that.
Hi everyone, I am Kelly Marion. I'm another assistant AD, and I work a lot with scheduling, dismissals, uniforms, a lot of that good stuff.
Hi, my name is Alex Boshaw. I'm an assistant principal, so my primary role here is student discipline, security, and I have the privilege of helping and supporting athletics.
Hello, my name is Jason Switzer. I work as the athletic trainer and sports medicine teacher. I'm here to oversee the health and wellness for your kids and try to keep them healthy throughout the year.
Dana Moen, I'm the principal, and I'm the substitute golf coach whenever we need a substitute golf coach. I hadn't told you that.
You got your stipend coming in soon, Dana, so we appreciate it. Guys, we're going to give it up to Cody Warwick, who's going to start off the presentation and get ready for some great information that will share what this is all about, how we can support you, and how we can do this together. Thanks a lot, Cody.
All right, a little counterintuitive to presenting, but if you guys take your phones out, in any app store, the Apple App Store or the Android App Store, you can look up Caiman space sports. It's CAIMAN, and then space sports. You're going to find our sports app, and basically you can look through fall sports, winter sports, spring sports. This is where you'll find your Monday update or your Sunday update from your coaches about what's going on for practice or games that week in that season. You guys can also see some schedules, some rosters. This is kind of our interface with the public for all of our sports. And then some of you guys will get push notifications. If you want to get a push notification from a specific sport, the way you would do that is you would go in the menu, you'd click on that sport, and so I gave football as an example here. Once you see the top, you'll notice there is a little star in the bottom left on the photo. You want to turn that star, make sure it's yellow. When a coach sends out a push notification that sends it to your phone, you guys will get those that way. If you don't have the yellow star for whatever sport you're looking for, it won't send a push notification through. So if you guys need any help with that, feel free to contact me. My email is cwarwick@classicalacademy.com, and I'm happy to help you guys get that set up. And I believe up next is, next slide.
Mr. Boshaw.
Mr. Boshaw, Alex Boshaw coming up.
We're all just like counting down the days to be out for the summer, and how great it is that we can already be thinking about next year and all the amazing athletic opportunities. I played sports all through high school, and I've been a parent. My son, who's graduating from UC Irvine in a couple weeks, came into classical as a kindergarten, so all my kids have gone through from TCA all the way through high school and have been greatly impacted by athletics. Thank you for being here tonight. Athletics can be so powerful in helping students to get connected, to be part of a team, to have athletic competition, to win, to lose, to do both things graciously. And just one of the ways that I support the athletic team is by helping all of our transfer students. So I'll just briefly touch on a couple of things just to introduce and put a face to a name. But I just want to throw this easy to remember email out at you. athletics@classicalacademy.com. Athletics@classicalacademy.com sends an email to Mr. Moen and the entire athletic administration. So whoever it is that's responsible for, maybe you have a question about transfers, that would be me. Maybe you have a question about whether your student athlete is eligible because of grades, that would be me. Maybe you have a question about the app, that would be good. Whoever it is that's responsible for your question is going to get on that email. If it's a question about an issue that you're having with a team or with a coach, then our athletic director, Mr. Preciado, is going to lean into that. So athletics@classicalacademy.com. But just to give you a brief overview of what I do, anyone that attended another high school last year needs to have a CIF transfer process, and that's what I help you with. You're going to be introduced to our athletic clearance portal tonight. It's called CIF Home Campus. It's where all of our athletes upload their sports physicals, they sign their ethics in sports forms, parent permission slips, all of those things get uploaded into CIF Home Campus. We'll tell you what that is, explain all that. When you check that box that says, I went to another high school last year, it'll take you off on a little bit different path where you'll sign some paperwork, you'll say that you were not recruited to come here. CIF does not like our coaches going out into the community and recruiting athletes to come here from other schools, so they'll have you sign some paperwork and we will process a CIF transfer for you. So please, if you, just make sure that you do check that box, because it is important that all athletes, whether you played a sport or not, it doesn't matter if you played a sport or not, if you went to another high school, then we do need to process a transfer for you. When you break out into your team meetings, let your coach know that, or just email athletics@classicalacademy.com. I'll get back to you, walk you through the process. Or if you're tech savvy, you can just take off on the athlete clearance process on home campus, answer all the questions, and we'll process a transfer for you. So just let you know that we do need to take those steps to assure that every transfer student has been processed. The other thing that is really important, because we are a school, is grades. Every high school in the country has an academic requirement to play sports. That's just a part of academic school-based athletics, is that there is a GPA requirement. So all athletes need to maintain a 2.0 GPA in order to participate in sports. So at the end of every quarter, we run a grade report, and you may get an email that states that your child is on probation. So what probation means, hopefully you don't get the email, but you might, is that your child has below a 2.0 for that quarter. Probation still means that they can play. It just means alert. They fell below a 2.0, we need to help get them some tutoring, we need to get some homework done, we need to make up a test, we need to provide some support for them. 2 consecutive quarters below a 2.0 GPA, and then the athlete is ineligible for an entire quarter. So it's a quarter is 9 weeks. An academic grading period is 9 weeks. So we just want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So just be aware there is an academic part of this. Our teams are constantly scoring high on academic scores. Our student athletes, this is just a really amazing school. Students are brilliant. So this doesn't happen often, but if it does, we are happy to surround your student with as much support academically as we possibly can, just so that you can have that conversation with them, you know, guy or gal, son or daughter, we got to make sure that we're above that 2.0 GPA. In addition to that, so that's the CIF benchmark. In addition to that, our teachers every 4 weeks are going to send a notice to administration if your child's failing a class or two. And if they're failing a class, we may ask them to step away from sports for a shorter period of time to make sure that they don't get to that 9-week away from sports thing. So if you get an email, hey, we're concerned your child's failing a class or two, even if they haven't reached that probation or ineligibility mark, It just means that we want to come together and try to support your child. And we would rather have shorter benchmark, shorter checks, those 4-week checks, and maybe a day or a few days or a week away from sports to catch up on the grades, rather than to hit that 9-week point where we have no say-so in the matter, and it's 9 weeks. So if you have any questions about transfers, about eligibility, grades, or how to get your son or daughter academic support while they're playing sports, email athletics@classicalacademy.com. I will get back with you and engage in a dialogue on how we can support you guys. Do I have anything else to say? Yes, I do. Your son or daughter cannot play club sports in the same season that they're playing sports at high school if it's the same sport. So what you can do is play club soccer during volleyball season. That's okay. You can play club soccer during track and field season. You can't play club soccer during high school soccer season. You can't play club volleyball during high school volleyball season. That's a CIF, in an attempt to not overwork students, have made that declaration. It doesn't make a lot of sense because they allow you to mix and match. So, but just to keep that in mind, if your son or daughter is playing club sports, they can't play the high school sport in the same season as the club sport if it's the same sport. That would be a violation, and they would have to forfeit any games that they participated in. So just keep that in mind. All right, next. Who is up next?
Switz. Future Caiman's up there. We got a hot dog eating contest winner and a bull rider. Okay. All right. As I mentioned, I teach sports medicine and then try to do my best, cover all the sports, take care of the kids as well as I can. And just want to discuss athlete clearances as well as some fall sport prep work. Next slide, please. All right, that's the training room. It's right across from Caiman Hall here. There I'm learning labs, lunch, 4th period. Come on by if you ever have any aches or pains. Happy to see anything that you need. We can talk about just general health and wellness, hydration, nutrition, sleep schedules. But what I need to see you for is any time you've had any orthopedic pain, any aches, pains for more than a week, and any head injuries. Just have to see them, make sure that you're getting taken care of. Athlete clearance. A lot of people, I'm sure, have started the process. It is an amazing thing for us to keep us grounded, know where everyone is, know how we can help them, and ensure that we have your contact information in case something were to go wrong. Each year, at this time, everyone needs to complete their profile for their kids for the upcoming year. And it needs to get done before the season starts. So if you only do winter season, if you only do fall season, it just needs to be done early. And creating it for the 9th grade year, and then you just renew that same profile for the following years. And it needs to be done by a parent. And one parent can have multiple students. And then number 2 is you need to upload a physical exam. And those physical exams, if done anytime in the middle of the year or at any various times, just 365 days is when they expire. So profiles need to be updated before your season starts, and then 365 days from your physical, whenever that may be. And then we're paperless, so please just upload everything, or if something doesn't work, feel free to give me a call or email me, and I'll do it for you. Next slide, please. Prepare for your sports. Some of our students will go into a practice without maybe having picked up a racket or gone for a jog. Well, you may be a little bit behind, and you may lead yourself into some injuries. So please do some running, do some weight training, play whatever sport you're doing, or pick up games. Do something this summer so you're not showing up to school and having a week of workouts and class all in one and get overloaded. Develop healthy routines. If you're not sleeping 9 hours, if you're not eating in the mornings, if you're not hydrating throughout the day, please start now. it's going to be a strenuous year if we're not doing some of these little things. If you don't put in the time, it's hard to be successful. If you're not enjoying yourself, it's hard to put in the time. So make sure you're having fun. Address pain. Pain's not normal. It's not weakness, leaving the body or whatever they used to say. It's not a normal thing to be uncomfortable all the time. It's good to work hard and be uncomfortable in the moment, but if we're not recovering well, then it's hard to have a higher peak performance later on. And I'm here to help you guys reach your goals in any way, shape, or form. So please report head injuries. It's one of those things that it's come a long way. We're learning more and more about concussions, but we do need to make sure that we're taking care of each other. Just because a coach doesn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. So let's be mindful. If you get hit in the head or have some other force or jar to the body and you don't feel right, it's a bit of a concern. So make sure you say something to someone. There's no such thing as, oh, that was a non-concussion-like hit, or that shouldn't have caused that. Well, it has no bias. It doesn't matter what the hit was. You can feel different or have a headache from many different things. So there's a lot of injury prevention programs out there that are showing wonderful things for soccer athletes, baseball, volleyball, basketball athletes, and anybody that runs, jumps, or throws, or hits overhead or does a swimming motion. If you do a little bit of prep work with some balance exercise, you can prevent these injuries by up to 50% with ACLs and 50 to 60% with your Tommy John's elbow injuries. So a lot of little things that you can do to prevent injury and develop yourself as an athlete. We don't play sports to get fit anymore. We've got to get fit to play our sport. So please do your best to be prepared. I'll be in the lobby to answer questions for anything relating to sports med or just the athlete clearance policy. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Guys, I introduced myself earlier. I'm the principal. I'm going to talk quickly about our philosophy, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about how we make this work from a fundraising and just a financial standpoint. So, guys, how many of you guys were impacted by high school sports? Like, high school sports impacted your life somehow? Raise your hand. Okay, if you've gone through high school, if you've played high school sports, you're probably much like me. I would not be here today if I didn't have high school sports. I just wouldn't. I had the opportunity at SKU High to play 4 high school sports, and the things that I learned during those 4 years just drastically impacted my life and the course of my life. And I know for a fact I couldn't be the principal or the husband or the father or anything without those things that I learned. So our 4 core values are fun, having fun. Whether you're a parent, a player, or a coach, I want fun to be a big aspect of high school sports. And that starts with our attitude. When we see a ref make a bad call, it's going to happen. We can respond to that however we want to respond to it. If you want to have fun, let it go. Let some of those things go. If your kid isn't the starter that you want him to be, sometimes we just have to let that go and work through that with our own child, okay? Those are some of the life lessons. I want our athletes having fun during practice and during games. Fitness. I want every single Caiman to focus on physical fitness. We even have our choir team and our musical theater team running around the school getting physically fit. Because if you get physically fit, it's going to impact everything in your life. It's going to impact your mental health. It will help you academically. If you're pushing your body and training your body, you will get better grades. So whether you're on the golf team or the swim team, I want you to be physically fit. Friendships. You can't get through this life without good friendships. This time in high school is going to be an amazing time to find your people and to get connected with people that are going to lift you up and encourage you. So our athletes are encouraged not just to be in practice together, but to do things outside of practice together. Some of our coaches actually plan, parents, be ready, there will be team bonding experiences. And sometimes that will be the practice because that's the most important thing for that day. And future is the last F. These sports, this time in your life is going to impact your future, whether it's your career or your family. I'll tell you, like,
couple of my biggest moments in my high school, like I played 4 sports, but I got cut going into my senior year on one of them. That impacted my future. Learning how to handle that adversity impacted my future. My daughter, I'm the principal, and one of the coaches cut my daughter. She couldn't even make our JV team here. That was a life-changing moment for the good for her. So sports are going to impact your future. So remember, when you guys see people doing this for the pictures, it's the 4 Fs, right? That's why we have 4 Fs, okay? Fun, fitness, friendship, and future. Next slide. Fundraising. I just want everyone to be clear. I'm being recorded now. It's an astronomical amount of money to run high school athletics. So we're asking for 2 types of fundraising. One is a donation to the NCEF. It's $150 we ask for. That helps pay for the coaches, for the facilities, for the referees, for the CIFs, all the necessary things to make high school sports run. And again, it's a large, large, large part of our high school budget. So that's just something we're asking everybody to help with, and that goes to the school cost. We also ask every team to do a fundraiser. Usually it's a SNAP fundraiser. SNAP fundraisers, you use your family, your friends, your aunts and uncles and grandparents all over the country, all over the world. And each team raises typically a small team, maybe $5,000 to a large team up to $15,000, $20,000. That goes into your ASB account. You can use that to travel to tournaments. Some of our teams will travel out of state, I don't think anyone's traveled out of the country yet, but some teams will travel, some teams will do bonding. Some teams will do big banquets at the end. You don't have to do a banquet, but you might want to do a banquet. And our teams are also fundraising for new uniforms every couple years, maybe around every 3 years or so. So 2 types of fundraising. We need that to make it happen. Because we don't own our own facilities, that's one of the reasons this thing costs a whole lot. And I think that's what I got for you guys. I'm so excited to see you guys next year. Oh, one other thing. Thank you for being here. Whether this is your first time at Caiman Way or maybe your 10th time. Maybe you're going into your senior year and this is your 10th season you're going into. Thank you for coming to this part. I know we say a couple of the same things every time, but I know for me, that's how it becomes part of me, by hearing it and practicing it over and over. So thank you guys for being here. I hope to see you 2 more times this year. Thank you.
I'm going to cover different roles and also expectations about communications and things of that nature. I want to address a couple things here. You know, we've got a lot of sports here that we offer, and so some are D5 and some are D1. So depending on what sport it is, some sports there's cuts because of the level of competition. And in some sports, like if you just want to go and have a good time and you'll be assured to be able to participate, we have some of those sports as well. It just depends on the division, on the demand. So just keep that in mind as you are considering playing sports. But our hope is this, that there's a sport for you. And our hope is this, is that you're going to get involved. Right? And so regardless of which one it is, we know there's a spot for every one of you guys here, so make sure you take advantage of that because it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Just want to cover some roles here. Players, real quick, remain eligible. Remain eligible. So you have to maintain a 2.0 in order to do that. This school is kind of an anomaly. At the end of the year banquets, I'm always amazed at the 4.0 and higher. Right, the 3.5, all those amazing accolades academically. Our students are hard workers. Our students do very, very well. Once in a while, there are those that need a little extra help. There's no problem with that, and so we like to extend that help. But students, players, athletes remain eligible because if you're not eligible, we lose our power and our ability to support you. Does that make sense? Right? We just can't do anything about it. It's the CIF rule. And so remain eligible. Also, just this little statement right here, best effort with best attitude. There's not too much you can control in life, and in sports there's a lot you can't control. You can't decide, I'm going to win. We're going to win and then just win. Now, that mentality helps. Are you guys with me? That focus certainly helps, but how many times have you gone into a game committed to win and you end up losing? So what's the problem? Were you not committed enough? What's the problem? Did you just not focus enough? You know, sometimes the problem is you're just not good enough. Sometimes the problem is the person is bigger, faster, and stronger than you. Sometimes the problem is you fumbled the ball and it was just a mistake, and that happens in life. So you can't control those outcomes, but you can control your effort and your attitude. And if you put forth your best effort and your best attitude, and this transcends beyond the classroom, guys, this is life, right? If you give your best effort and your best attitude, whatever those results yield, you should be okay with it. Why? Because you can't control anything else. You can't control, right? If the point is to win, follow me here. If the goal was to win, and you play a team that's far inferior to you, and you played sloppy, and you had bad sportsmanship, and you had a bad attitude, and you weren't prepared, but you won, so did you meet your goal then? Right? So the goal can't be to get that win. The winning should come by doing things the right way with the 4 F's. You guys following me? Like if you're having fun, you're staying fit, right? Making great friendships and experiences, and you're providing for the future in some way with your effort and attitude. That will yield over time. That's going to yield some good results. Are you guys following me? But that goal is not to win. So your best effort and best attitude. So even though those 4 F's sound kind of fluffy, to add another 5 F, right? They sound kind of fluffy. Oh, right? Fun, fitness, right? Friendships. I'll tell you what, we applied that because this is something we kind of shifted towards this year. I want you guys to pay attention to this. First of all, we missed the mark. Let me say that. We missed the mark quite often. But that's our standard. Are you guys with me? Right? Here's our standard, and us as the department, we miss the mark sometimes. Our coaches miss the mark sometimes. Our players miss the mark sometimes. Our parents miss the mark sometimes, but we don't want to lower those standards because we missed the mark. But really by applying that, this year out of 26 sports, keep in mind we're a small charter school. Keep in mind our GPAs. Keep in mind we have no facilities. Are you with me? Out of 26 sports, 23 of our teams made playoffs. Yeah, that's worth celebrating. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. One of the teams won a state championship. The only one in 100 years in Escondido in football. One. That was us last year. Right? 2 CIF championships. Sending kids to state competition and other sports as well. So when you hear the 4 F's, don't think it's like, hey, how you doing? Maybe we should stretch, or should we hit today in football? I don't know, guys. What do you think? Or who wants the color? Right? That's not what it's about. We want to win, but the winning is not the focus. You guys following me? By doing things the right way, we're going to get the results that we want. And once again, we missed the mark all along the way, starting on the chief of missing the mark. But that's our goal, that's our standards that we try to improve when we do this stuff. Coaches, they're going to implement the 4 F's. We want them to make sure it's a fun environment. We want to make sure they're keeping your kids fit. We want to make sure they're creating great friendships. And we want to make sure through the time they're spending with these coaches, they're better off in the future. We don't mean athletic scholarships that may happen. We're having more kids than ever sign and play at the next level. It's amazing, it's ridiculous, it's fantastic. But that's not what we're talking about in the future, right? How do you deal with that failure? How do you deal with the success? How do you deal with relationships? How do you deal with the injury, right? So all that we want the coaches to implement. Communicate effectively. They'll be using the Caiman Sports app. They'll be sending weekly emails, and some of them internally have different communication processes. Excuse me, but they're all committed to communicate effectively with you guys. Parents, what is your roles? What are your roles? Support the students and coaches. This sounds pretty benign and simple. Right? This doesn't sound like a huge task. But I think more than ever, as I'm witnessing, sports has become elevated in importance in a lot of people's lives. And with that elevation of importance, we've seen a lot of hyper, affinity for the sport, hyper dependence on the sport, hyper engagement on the sport, where often where the parent should be Hey, Johnny, how did it go? I'm glad you had a good time. And let's go home, right? Often it's so much pressure that the kids are under, not only from their sports during the week, not only the sports, the club sports, the travel sports, but the high school sports. We want the parents to support, right? Support your students and your coaches. Your parents, I have 4 kids. 4 kids, I think I have, yeah, 4. I have 4. My kids have had a lot of coaches. All my kids have played a lot of sports. A lot of coaches. One father. So I should really focus on being a daddy to my kids. Does that make sense, guys? Because when I turn into coach, when I'm not the coach, I turn into something they have in abundance and they lose daddy. Right? So parents, moms, dads, I encourage you to keep that in mind of all the coaches they have, juxtaposed to how many parents they have. If you're mom and dad or their supporter, right? Be their supporter. Likewise, for the coaches as well. We'll get into this in a little bit, but just enjoy, support the coaches. Get to know them. Be an asset for them. You have no idea the enormous amount of sacrifices that they do for your kids. So we encourage you and expect you to support them. Also, parents, get involved. So many ways you can get involved. One of the beautiful things about the school, right, the parent involvement, partnering with parents, whether it's helping out with the fundraiser, helping out collect uniforms, helping put together a midweek or a dinner, helping out with driving kids around with the carpool. I encourage you, go to the coaches tonight if you've got the ability, and just go to the coach and say, hey, coach, how can I be helpful? Man, that's music to a coach's ears, because we do need a lot of help to do this. All right, let's get to the next one. Do's and don'ts, coach communication. Do discuss player treatment, this is parents. Do discuss ways to help. Do discuss behavior concerns. Do discuss ways to improve. This is not the funnest part of the conversation. I don't know why I got stuck with it every time, but please chat with the coaches regarding these things. 100%. Very good. Some things to consider do not discuss. Playing time. Playing time is the coach's discernment, is the coach's decision. And if you come to someone in the admin saying, hey, I want to talk about Johnny's playing time, simply you're going to hear this from us. We don't discuss playing time. Go to the coach. They have the freedom to say, we're not going to discuss playing time. Now, what you can do is have your son or your daughter go to coach and say, hey, coach, how can I maximize my opportunities to get better? Oh, we can work with that. Hey, coach, how can I improve? Oh, we can work with that. Hey, coach, perhaps is there a different position? Because I've been telling you I want to be QB1, right? And I can't throw the ball that well. So perhaps there's another spot for me, right? These things are fair game to discuss, and so have those discussions. Ways to help, behavior concerns, ways to improve, not playing time, not game strategy. Hey, coach, man, you really should have bunted, should have put on a squeeze in that second inning. Maybe. It doesn't mean you're wrong, right? But this is the coach's, like Bobby Brown said, it's their prerogative. And you got to be over 35 to go with that one. Don't Google him, kids. Don't Google him. Wait for the A&E documentary. Game strategy. Leave it up to the coaches. Hey, guess what? The coaches are wrong sometimes. Sometimes you're right. They should have bunted, or they should have run a reverse, or they should have done an onside, or they should have played man zone defense, or they should have shot the three. Who knows? But it's the coaches have earned the right to do that. Does this make sense to everyone? Yeah. They've earned the right to do it. I'll tell you how you can discuss. There's a caveat and a loophole in all of this. Plenty of right to discuss playing time and game strategy. Here's the loophole. Coach. You really want to discuss strategy? We're all for it. We have plenty of volunteer opportunities available for coaches. We'd love for you to help them out with playing time and game strategies. Otherwise, leave it up to the coaches. Last, other player participation. Don't discuss Billy or Susie's, why they're playing, why they're not playing. Once again, that's left up to the coach's discretion. Okay, next one. Fun, fitness, friendships, future. Real quick, I'm going to close up with this, hopefully on a lighter note. I'm here because I love classical. My oldest son, Diego, has been in classical since kindergarten, and my youngest one, Marco, has been since kindergarten as well. So all 4 kids of mine have gone through classical. It has been amazing academically, socially, relationship-wise, sports-wise. It's been fantastic. And the reason I'm here is because it's added so much value to my life. I want to be able to bring a little value. I was fortunate enough, I played all kinds of sports growing up like Mr. Moen. Unlike Mr. Moen, I didn't get cut. I was fortunate enough to get a football scholarship to play at San Diego State, paid for my business degree, paid for me to travel, paid for my books, paid everything. It was my dream come true. And that provided opportunities for me. I met my wife while playing football there. We've been married 23 years. And sports has been fantastic to me, and I want to kind of share and create opportunities that I've gotten through sports on my kids as well. My oldest son, Diego, played football and soccer here. Did great. His dream came true. He went to Stanford to go play football. Like, it's a miracle. Like, look at him. A little half-breed Latino skinny soccer player went to Stanford for football, right? Like, that's not the norm, right? Like, miracles happened. But it was a lot what he learned through here in classical, right? Both my girls right now, they play soccer at Westmont. Their dream came true as well. They're right now in Uganda, Africa, on a missions trip with their soccer team, college soccer team, living out their dream. Amazing, their dream come true. My youngest son, Marco, he's not very athletic. So hopefully he's smart, he's bright, and he's funny. So we'll see about him. Now he's kind of on the same track where my kids' best memories at classical, and I'll wrap up with this. My kids' favorite memories with classical aren't from the math test, aren't from the Spanish quiz. Being Latino, I wish Spanish quiz was a favorite, right? Pero no es mi favorito. Their best memories and the relationships they made have been through sports. My son Diego was in town this weekend to go to a wedding of one of his former football players, and all the guys up there, former athletes, right, that have done life together, community life together. So, you guys, play a sport, work your butt off, have fun, right, make friendships, get fit, and let it prepare you for the future. That's what we have for you guys tonight. We thank you so much for your attention. Before you leave.